Hey y'all, and welcome to Brawl. My name is Brian, and we've got an absolute bombshell for y'all. Kaitlan Collins is actually asking smart questions, and oh boy does Karoline Leavitt have the perfect answer for her. Let's dive in.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions for Director Gabard just on this. Director Gabard, you referenced the past intelligence reports and assessments on this, including that 2017 one that was signed off, as Ed noted, by every Republican on the Senate Intelligence Community, including the acting chair of the time, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said in a statement that they did not find any evidence of Russian collusion, but they did find, however, is very troubling, and they found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling. One, are you saying that he's wrong in that statement that he made then? And secondly, what would you say to people who believe that you're only releasing these documents now to improve your standing with the president after he said that your intelligence assessments were wrong?
Well, first, I want to correct something that you stated, which was citing the Senate Intelligence Committee's report as being one and the same. I think you said the intelligence community. The Senate Intelligence Committee has a very different function than the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The evidence and the intelligence that has been declassified and released is irrefutable. I'm going to let Caroline speak to Secretary Rubio.
I'll speak to both questions. First, on Secretary Rubio, he put out a statement in 2020 following that Senate Intelligence Committee report, and he said what they found is troubling. We found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling, which the Director of National Intelligence just confirmed for all of you, that Russia was trying to sow distrust and chaos. But what's the outrage in this that Secretary Rubio did not say at the time, the Democrats were saying at the time, is the fact that the intelligence community was concocting this narrative that the president colluded with the Russians, that the president's son was holding secret meetings with the Russians, all of these lies that were never true. And he also said at that time, we discovered deeply troubling actions taken by the FBI under Comey, particularly their acceptance and willingness to rely on the Steele dossier without verifying its methodology or sourcing. The Steele dossier that many outlets in this room ran as the gospel truth, and it was cooked up and paid for by the Clinton campaign. As for your second question, Caitlin, I think, who is saying that she would release this to try to boost her standing with the president? Who has said that?
Well, the president has publicly undermined her when it came to Iran. He said she was wrong. He told me that she didn't know what she was talking about. That was on Air Force One on camera.
The only people who are suggesting that the Director of National Intelligence would release evidence to try to boost her standing with the president are the people in this room who constantly try to sow distrust and chaos amongst the president's cabinet, and it is not working. I will just answer your question directly. I am with the President of the United States every day. He has the utmost confidence in Director Gabard. He always has. He continues to, and that is true of his entire cabinet, who is all working as one team to deliver on the promises this president made. Does anyone else have questions for Director Gabard? And then we'll turn it over to a couple other questions.
All right, someone get out the tape measure. Let's see the launch angle and the exit velocity, because that was a home run, ladies and gentlemen. Karoline Leavitt is absolutely perfect at this job, and Tulsi Gabbard doesn't seem too happy in this video, but she does look like she's telling the truth. There are certain tells you can usually have when you know that someone is spewing a bunch of nonsense. They get a little too defensive, they'll start sweating, they'll start moving a little too much, their eyes will shift. I'm not seeing that here. I'm seeing a different kind of nervousness that we don't know how far this goes. That's where I'm putting my money. But currently, what this report has come out, the report that has come out, as it turns out, something that we've long believed here, something that we've long thought of, didn't have concrete evidence, but just kind of connected the dots, that Barack Obama himself was deeply behind the Russia collusion hoax. Remember how we lost our collective minds after Watergate? And when I say remember, I'm trusting the audience, because I wasn't around. I didn't come around till 93. I came around 20 years later. But it broke something in the American mind. That's because we had heard so much nonsense about Vietnam. We had finally pulled out of there. And then just out of the blue, Richard Nixon gets caught trying to illegally enter the Watergate Hotel. Not him himself, but he ordered people to go in and see if they could find any documents from Democrat ranking members that were running against him for president. And that's a dumb thing to do, but it was a bombshell of all bombshells, perhaps the biggest story since Pearl Harbor. And it broke a lot of trust with the American people. Now we have a president who decided to use his authority and abuse it by directing members of the FBI not only to spy on Donald Trump, we know that happened, but to manufacture a dossier, manufacture evidence that links Donald Trump to the Kremlin. Because it's undermining of our own democracy. You'd think that an act like that would get Democrats to go, wait a minute, isn't that undermining the will of the people by definition? Not that I would trust them to ever come to that conclusion. Because they don't fully understand what they've done. They don't understand what's been going on. They don't understand that Barack Obama was indeed, as Clint Eastwood himself said, that Barack Obama has been the biggest lie ever foisted upon the American people. I don't think I got that quote completely right, but Clint Eastwood was right. Barack Obama was supposed to be hope and change, and all we got was a light-skinned George W. Bush. That's what we got. And conservatives were not happy with W at the end of his term. We were not happy with the dude. The mood had soured on Republicans. I remember going to my Little League baseball games, and my dad would have on Sean Hannity because he would tune into WSB when we were going back and forth. And I remember Sean Hannity being very critical of the president. So I just asked Dad, wait a minute, I thought Sean Hannity liked George W. Bush. And Dad said, well, yeah, but we can disagree with people that we like. And that sort of changed the way I viewed politics. And so basically, we now have a situation where a sitting president decided that he was going to use his power to see if he could undermine the democratic process and fabricate a story. And the mainstream media, people like Kaitlan Collins, who does, on one hand, ask an intelligent question. It occasionally happens, something about a blind squirrel in an acorn. But ultimately, they would much rather, the mainstream media would much rather to see if they can sow as much discontent as they can around this story to muddy the waters, because Barack Obama was their guy. They practically worshipped at his altar. And now the altar boy has some skeletons in his closet. And that's about to be brought to light. So, of course, I trust the mainstream media to go out of their way to talk about the story that isn't even there, isn't even a real thing, and to talk about contradictory reports. I'm sorry, Kaitlan, but that means you'd have to be a journalist. And instead, you're just trying to ask questions in order to get your headline. And all you really did was give me something to talk about, because this story is getting crazier by the minute. So, I guess thank you, Kaitlan, thank you for what you do. You help make this channel possible, all because you keep on exposing yourself as someone who wants to spew discord and malcontent. And Karoline Leavitt wrote you, understood the assignment, and just took you out behind the woodshed, and like I said, folks, hit an absolute nuke of a home run. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Brawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.